Welcome to Fix It Home Improvement, covering projects that every homeowner should know and great products for home and garden.
Hi, I'm JC, and this is where we share weekly home improvement tips. I'm here with my co-host Cindy.
Hello, JC.
Hi, Cindy. Today we're going to be talking about outdoor security lighting, and we'd like to thank Max DIY for liking and sharing our podcast, and he has a channel on YouTube. The first motion sensors were developed from research they did with early radar detectors during the 1940s, during World War II.
Interesting.
And then it wasn't until the 50s where they had the first burglar alarms, which were using ultrasonic waves, and this system would shoot out a pattern of waves, and it would analyze how it was reflected back to the sensor, and then if there was ever a disruption in that pattern, it would either trigger an alarm or turn on a light. For outdoor security lighting around your house, you can either operate it with a switch, you can have a sensor that turns it on at dusk and off at dawn, or a motion detector that's going to turn it on when motion is detected. And make sure you're getting a fixture that's rated for outside because it's going to have a gasket that seals off the electrical box from moisture. And with a traditional style outdoor security fixture, this is going to come with 1, 2, or 3 weatherproof lamp sockets.
Right.
And that way you can just screw a bulb into it. And usually they're going to take a flood style of a bulb.
Right.
And you can get this, and what you're looking for in your bulb is wet rated outdoor. And you can get it in incandescent, halogen, CFL, or LED.
Right, because this type doesn't have anything protecting it, it's just a bulb.
Right. Some of the new outdoor LED security light fixtures will have an array of LEDs. So they're built into it, and you can rotate them so you can adjust the light, but it's a panel of LEDs, so you can't ever replace the LED. So that's something to think about.
Well, outside my condo in the parking lot, the light for, 5 years didn't work outside. So they just replaced it with one of these LED things. And it's like you're at the airport. It's bright.
Yeah, some of these new panels are great.
I went from no light, and now you can see everything.
And uses very little energy.
Right.
There's actually a lot of debate whether or not it's better to leave the lights on all night long around your house or just have it connected to motion detectors.
Why?
And what's funny is Chicago did a study. They wanted to reduce crime in these high crime areas by increasing the lights and the lighting level in alleys and streets. So they took an area and they studied this for over a year. And after a year, they did the analysis, and crime was up 24% with more light. So what they deduced is criminals really like light.
Well, I think they should do the study in a different city besides Chicago.
Well, no, they had stats for decades.
Right.
And over a year, they increased the lighting in a couple of these...
I watch the local news. I see what the crime rate is. So I would say try a different city.
But it's funny, a few of the pros were saying that even the criminals are a little nervous when it's too dark, when they can't see around.
Yeah.
So many of the pros are suggesting leave the lights mounted to your garage on at night so it's more decorative. It's kind of like a landscape light, and it gives you some vision. And then have motion detectors on your front door, your back door, and anywhere where it's a little isolated around your house. And then they're also saying that these motion detectors are much better at drawing attention to someone who's just moved into your yard. And when you combine motion detectors with community watch, they've seen a decrease in crime.
Except in Chicago.
So for your garage and front door, a coach light or lantern style is going to give a much more decorative look. And then a floodlight style would be used either on the side or back of your house, or if you have a detached garage, it's nice to have a floodlight style. And floodlights can really cast light over a much larger and wider area than any of those decorative light fixtures. Most of the floodlight style fixtures are going to use a PAR 38 bulb.
Okay, are you going to explain what that means?
PAR is parabolic aluminized reflectors, and so what you're looking for in an outdoor bulb like this is outdoor rated, wet rated, and this PAR is going to be much more durable than a standard reflector bulb or a standard flood or spot. And it actually, because of the aluminum inside, it reflects about 4 times more light than other type of bulbs. If you see a bulb that's marked R, that just means it reflects, so it's a reflector. BR is a bulge reflector, so it's a little different shaped body. And then ER is ellipsoidal reflector, and so the top is kind of more beveled.
Okay.
But PAR is really what you're looking for an outdoor light.
And they should be separated, outdoor compared to regular indoor floodlights and spotlights.
Right, that's usually how they're going to merchandise it.
But you should pay attention when you're buying it.
Absolutely, yeah. Then the numbers that follow the letters on a flood, so if you have a PAR 38, those numbers are giving you the width at the largest point. So floodlights are cone-shaped. So at its widest point, each number after the letter equals 1/8 of an inch.
Oh boy, I'm going to hate this.
So PAR 38, so you'd have 38 eighths, so it'd be 38 over 8. You'd have a bulb that's going to be 4.75, so 4 3/4 inches wide, which is nice to know.
But I mean, they could just say PAR 4.75, right?
That might be easier. But this is good to know. So this is like hardware stuff. So if you've got a can light in your house, and let's say you measure it and it's 3 3/4 inches, you know that you need a PAR 30.
Well, no,
because
you don't know
30
that.
over 8, you do the math, it's 3.75, which would be 3 3/4 of an inch. How cool is that?
Just let's make
hardware
things...
math.
No, it's stupid. It's what it is.
Besides the PAR 38, you should also be thinking about whether you want a flood or a spot. A floodlight is going to give you 33 to 45 degree spread of light. Spotlights can be anywhere between 5 and 22 degrees.
22 degrees.
So you can use a combination of these to prevent light from shining into a neighbor's window, let's say, if it goes on with a motion. You don't want to bother your neighbors.
Right.
You can also direct the fixture in most cases. And with this style of bulb, halogen is probably the most popular. But you can get it in CFL and LED. And then if you're putting LED bulbs in a coach light style fixture, you want to look at the package and see how the light is shining, because you can get directional and omnidirectional. So with omnidirectional, it's going to give off light all around the bulb like a traditional incandescent bulb. With directional LEDs, it's going to give off light more like a spotlight or a flood. So omnidirectional are better for outdoor lantern style fixtures. You'd want to make sure that they're outdoor and wet rated and dimmable if you have a dawn to dusk or a motion sensor.
Which you should really look at the package. A bunch of the packages that I saw, they didn't say outdoor on there at all, for the LED floodlights.
Yeah,
but there was a picture of a sun and a picture of an umbrella.
Right.
And
so
I'm taking
icon.
Right. But I'm taking this for outdoor rated.
Right.
But I'm reading the package, going.
Well, it's a lot of instructions
outdoor.
now. Like when you're building things, a lot of times it's just pictures rather than words.
Yeah, people don't like words. Glad we're writing books.
When you're picking your bulb, most of the LED bulbs are going to be 25,000 hours plus, where incandescent halogen are only going to be rated around 2,000 hours. There is a price difference, but prices are coming down on the LEDs. All of the halogen are dimmable, but not all CFLs and LEDs are dimmable. So if you have a light fixture that's either using a dusk to dawn sensor or a motion sensor, you need to make sure you're getting a bulb that's dimmable. With the dusk to dawn lights, they have a sensor that's going to shut off during the day and then turn on at dark, and they can be adjusted to turn on either all night. They can stay on for 3 hours or 6 hours after dark. With motion detectors, they can be adjusted to stay on 1 to 20 minutes for most fixtures. And then some are going to have a range of 70 feet or more where they can detect motion, which is pretty wild, and up to 240 degrees around it. And then you can also adjust the sensitivity and aim the sensor, so you're limiting its response. So if you have neighbors or cars that might turn it on and off all night.
Right. That kind of defeats the purpose.
Right. If you just have a traditional fixture outside and you want to turn it into a motion detector, you can use one of these motion detector light bulbs. So we talked about Sengled before. It's SENGLED. And they have one of their bulbs called Smart Sense. It's an outdoor wet rated light bulb. It has a 100-degree sensor to pick up motion, and when it senses motion, it turns on for 90 seconds at a time. And so it's a floodlight style bulb. So that's an easy way. You just leave your fixture on, and the bulb does the job. To replace an outdoor light fixture, I would make sure that I have an electrical tester. I like the non-contact electrical testers. That way you don't have to get anywhere near a potentially live wire. Klein, Gardner Bender, or Sperry have highly rated testers you can pick up at any hardware store. You're going to turn off the power to the circuit first, and then you're going to double check it with your tester, make sure it's really off. You're going to unscrew the old fixture and see if you can pull it away. A lot of these are going to be caulked in place.
Right.
And then there's also a rubber or foam gasket, so you may have to kind of pry that loose. If you have caulk around it to protect the box from moisture, I would take a utility knife with a new blade and cut through that all the way around, and then you should be able to pull it free. The wire connectors are going to be joining the black, white, and ground wires. You're going to untwist these, separate all the wires, and that's going to allow you to remove the old fixture. With the old electrical box, you should have a rectangular metal strip that the fixture was screwing into. If you don't, your new fixture is going to come with this, and they either call this a mounting strap or a fixture strap, and that's going to allow you to attach your fixture to any size electrical box, because some of the old ones are very tiny.
Right.
And so what they found, in fact, this is a new code where you have to have a fixture strap whenever you're connecting a light like this, because the old boxes were so small that what they found people were doing is just putting in one screw, because that's all it would fit. The other screw, is too wide.
Right.
And then, especially like in your home, then if you have a heavy light, they just tear through. So use a mounting strap or a fixture strap. You want to put your rubber or foam gasket on the new fixture and connect the white wire from the house to the white wires that are on the fixture. And on the fixture itself, you could have 2 or 3 white wires. You're going to twist all these together underneath a wire connector. And if you have to strip any insulation, just a tip, on solid wire that should be coming out of your house, you'd want to have about a 1/2 inch of the insulation stripped off. The stranded wire that's going to be on the new light fixture, you want it to be slightly longer, about 5/8 of an inch, and then use a wire connector with the spring inside, and you're going to push this together. That spring will open up, it'll grab hold of that stranded wire, and then when you tighten it and let go, it'll lock down and tie it all together very well. Then you're going to connect your green wire from the fixture to the bare ground wire or green coming out of your house, and then you're going to connect black to black. So this is your power, your black wire. And it should be a single black wire coming out of the fixture. Some fixtures are going to have multiple black or red, and they're going to be connected in a group under a wire connector. You just want to leave those connected and connect the one single black to the black from your house. You want to make sure that your foam or rubber gasket is lined up, and then screw the fixture to the electrical box, and it should fit snug with no gaps. To prevent moisture from getting into the electrical box, you can put a small bead of caulk around the fixture where it meets the building or the box. And if there's any gaps, you definitely have to caulk that, especially on the top. Some electricians, what they'll do is they'll leave a small opening on the bottom in case moisture ever does get in there. Then it has somewhere to drip out. And then others just caulk the whole thing up. The best caulk outside is either 100% silicone, polyurethane caulk, or Lexel. And Lexel is Lexel, and this is kind of a goof-proof caulk for these types of projects because it's crystal clear. It's going to stick to almost any surface. It even sticks to damp surfaces, which really makes it easy to use. It's waterproof, elastic, it stands up to extreme heat and cold, it's mildew resistant, and paintable in 4 hours.
Wow.
So when you put this bead of Lexel, it's kind of like 100% silicone. You want to smooth it with a finger dipped in soapy water. So get a little container of water, put just a couple of drops of liquid soap in there, mix it up, and you're going to dip it, smooth it, wipe your finger off with a clean cloth, and just keep smoothing it. 100% silicone isn't paintable, and most need to cure 24 hours to be waterproof, although some of the new formulas dry faster. Polyurethane caulk is great outside, but it can be difficult to gun out and spread. A lot of them come out very sticky and putty-like, so it's really a learning curve to get used to. Once the new fixture's in place, you can adjust the direction of the light and the sensors if you have them, turn on your electric, and then test it. For maintenance, once or twice a year, if you have sensors, you'd want to clean those off. They can actually get dirty and fail.
What are some top-rated companies?
Defiant, Heath Zenith, Maxa Innovations, Lithonia, and Mr. Beams all had highly rated outdoor light fixtures, and an interesting one from Defiant. They've got an outdoor security light that has dual sensors and dual light levels. So it's a 70-foot range, and when it's dark out, it automatically turns on the light at a very low level, and if there's any motion, it kicks up to this high level of light.
Interesting.
That was pretty wild. And then you can control it with Bluetooth.
Oh.
So you can control the sensitivity and the light levels.
That would be fun around Halloween.
Yeah. Heath Zenith and Lithonia, they both have very highly rated traditional style floodlights and motion sensors. And then Maxa Innovations. So it's MAXSA Innovations. And they have a line of solar-powered LED security spotlights and floodlights. So if you have an area and you don't have electric to it,
right.
This is nice. You can screw this fixture into that area, let's say on the side of a building, and then it uses solar power to keep it charged. Yeah, so very nice. And then Mr. Beams had a variety of really nice LED outdoor security lights.
Do you have anything else to add?
I'd say this is an easy do-it-yourself project if you want to change lights, especially if you're thinking about having motion detectors rather than just a traditional on and off. The LEDs are really nice. The prices are coming down, very long-lasting, use very little energy. And then if you get a fixture where you need to get a bulb for it, make sure you're getting outdoor wet-rated. If you have a sensor, get something that's dimmable.
Let's wrap this up.
You can subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, the Spotify mobile app, the Google Play Music app, and iHeartRadio.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a review.
You can check out our home improvement videos on our YouTube channel, Fix It Home Improvement.
And you can subscribe to that as well.
You can download our book from Amazon, Home Improvement Solutions, What Every Homeowner Should Know.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a 5-star rating and review.
You can email us at fixitpodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you for listening.
Talk to you next week.